great insights. Brent Haywood in the building.
Tomato.
Yeah,
time's a charm.
That was probably like the fifth time this round right there. So thank you for joining us too. I know you work with Kip, and the high-end photography is where it's at, and you're the man. So I kind of wanted to get an idea from you in terms of what are you seeing in the shift in marketing in real estate, and what's it going to?
The last couple of years has been a big push for video and pretty much all things video. I'd say half of our workload now with our higher end clients especially is towards the video, and as you've heard and known, drone work. A lot of aerial work. It's the buzzword. You have to be careful doing it, but a lot of the bigger properties definitely can benefit from that kind of coverage.
When you say be careful, I know that there's been articles about the drone and some laws that have been passed with regard to drone. Give us some insights on that.
From a safety standpoint, there's regulations that you have to follow, and really everybody out there needs to be flying with an FAA, waiver if you want to do it correctly. One of the bigger questions, though, it's kind of like we've talked about with Kip, is what's the experience in flying those aircraft around properties and people? It's something we've done for 20 years, and in the last 5 years, it's almost a daily project for us flying the drone. One of the things that we've seen out there from a safety standpoint is a lot of the people out there flying aren't insured. That's actually one of the scariest things, and one of the reasons why I stayed on the sidelines for quite a few years until I saw a bunch of carriers out there that were reputable, that were willing to cover, experienced pilots.
Well, with the push in social media, I mean, you talk about video, and I agree. And first off, I'm a fan of your work, both in real estate and fitness, and there's other outlets, obviously, that you're involved with. I can definitely see the value in being able to spend the money needed in order to market a home properly. I mean, what percentage are you seeing out there as far as like real estate agents that are actively investing in their business to hire someone like yourself?
It's really a 50-50 thing. I mean, I consistently still see magazine ads for $5 million houses, and they've been shot on an iPhone. And you just have to wonder how did that happen? How did that home seller even allow that agent in the door? Kind of goes back to what you were talking about with Kip. It's, what's their background? What does that agent do for their client? What kind of marketing they doing? And that's one of the first questions.
Does that lead to like an uneducated seller, maybe a family member? You know what I mean? Like I feel like when you work with maybe just a family member that's just been in the business and you want to give them a shot, you don't hold them to the highest standard or make them do what you think that should be done.
Nor do they have the budget most times.
Sure.
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to your earlier statement of this whole mindset of that I'm an expert. And I always like to say that, perception is not reality. You may perceive that this person is an expert. And I think a lot of times what happens is the sellers go in and go, well, geez, you've showed me some nice flyers and you sold the house down the street and, oh, you're a friend of my friends. And so, yeah, you're going to do a good job. And so they hire the real estate agent and they go out and they take very subpar photography and do very subpar marketing, depending on the type of property that they're trying to sell. And the seller, at the end of the day, a lot of times doesn't see that. They just think that it's being done at the level that they would expect it to be done. And then their property sits on the market, and months later they go, gosh, why are we not getting offers? Or why are we not getting the traffic that we should be getting? And then they realize, oh, wow.
And behind price, the imagery, video, and photography it's the second most important thing.
I mean, it's what we're seeing first. I mean, we're talking about everybody searching online and off their phone and off these websites. It's the first thing you see is the photos. To have that one photo of your reflection in the mirror, of that one, the
money shot.
The money shot.
We're always looking for the money shot. I mean, our goal as a real estate marketing company is to remove all barriers to sale other than the price, which is something that's out of our control. That's the agent's job. But my job is to go in there and show that property in the best possible light that we can, and remove all the barriers from that standpoint.
And it's a full production, right? I mean, you're not just walking in, snapping a few photos. I mean, we talked about right before the show. I mean, you're talking 2-3 hours, 4 hours in some cases.
Full days.
Full days.
For Kip.
For Kip, full days. Like that?
Yeah. Just like we talked
Kip
about.
hour.
Yeah. It's the day of Kip.
And that's what happens. We typically come up to a shoot for Kip at the higher level, and we'll do a complete shoot during the day. Then we come in and we shoot an entire video session of the home, and then we start the drone, and then we typically take a break for an hour or two, and we come back and do an evening session. That's one of the things that the luxury homes really stand out with is evening photography. You get a lot more color and contrast. And we've done quite a few statistic research things off our own social media pages. And the difference between an evening shoot and a day shoot is substantial. One of the tests we've done was 40-1 was the feedback from an evening shoot of the exact same house done during the day versus evening.
Do you think part of that is because that is not something that's normally done, or just the way the shots are?
There's a lot more to it now, but it's just you get a lot more mood and an emotional connection. It's, for instance, you don't see Vegas hotels shot during the day. Right. It just doesn't happen. Or a high-end bar. Mood is in the evening, and that dictates that you need a lot of the ambient light from the home. You want that buyer to feel like they're at home and enjoying that home. During the day, that just doesn't happen.
Well, to expand on that, I do think that not every photographer can go and just shoot a home at night. I mean, I really think you have to be an artist, and I think one of the things that Brent has done so very well, we've been business partners and friends since about 2010, and I get solicited all the time. I do a fair amount of business, and I get photographers and videographers. Oh, we'll do this project for you for free, or we really just want to get your business. And I say at the end of the day, it really isn't about the cost is important to me, but
yeah, don't tell Brent that.
It's the quality of the product, and I know unequivocally that when I have Brent and his team shoot a house for me, photography, videography, all of that, there's no questions. I know it's going to be spectacular.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a key point is that you have to have the eye for it. You've got to be an artist. It doesn't matter, and I've heard this before where teams say, well, I've got the budget. I'm going to go spend $5,000 on camera right now and knock out the middleman. But if you don't have an eye, it doesn't matter. You're
not. He just describes something as a mood. Like it's just
right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's
the lighting.
Yeah.
You're an artist essentially. You're an artist. You're bringing out things that we typically won't see with the naked eye.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make all the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking for a couple of key shots that have to go into a magazine. That's the first thing. The lead photo, the money shot that we always talk about. And that takes time. We typically walk the house with Kip, and we listen to what Kip has to say about the house, and we're hoping to get some homeowner input as well, because a lot of times I want to know, why did they buy the house? What made them buy the house originally? When they walked in, what was it about that structure that said, we have to buy it? And that's one of the things that I need to identify right away, and then go see what time of day it looks the best, because it may not look good in the morning.
You mentioned print. How much with social media right now, how much of your work is actually being printed on the real estate end of it?
I'd be hard to give you an estimate on that, but it's getting fewer and fewer every year percentage points. I mean, it's almost all of our work that I actually see is online.
Yeah.
Now, I know we're running short on time here. One of the things I actually want to bring up, I know we were talking a couple days ago, and you're hanging out in a helicopter all day, flying over downtown. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of my favorite parts of the business is actually flying in the full-size helicopter. As much as I love flying the drone, I'd actually rather be in the chopper myself. So anytime we get an opportunity to do that, which is once a week, we're up there flying real estate properties or construction projects. And one of the last things that we did last week was fly the entire bay for a redevelopment project for the city. And basically they needed footage for all of their marketing components to show why San Diego's great, which isn't hard to do.
Right.
Sure.
You get up in the air and it's spectacular. So that was a good 2-hour project. We had a lot of fun.